Watch out, that's the sinking chair.
Like warning people about the chair.
We're leaving that for Tom.
There. Oh, here we go. But I'm not the last one here.
Well. Again, this is Trevor McCord. He's our deputy city attorney. Many of us know him, and I think. The people who have been working with the legal department. Know him pretty well. I know him pretty well now. Gosh, I see him all the time.
Why are you in trouble so much?
No, we're trying to
Absolutely
stay
not.
Out of.
Absolutely.
Ah, that's it.
Council Lombardi.
Anyway, so. I wanted to have him here just because he wanted to be here, one. And just to see what we're doing. And two, kind of update on our efforts for the 501c3. Before that, we need to. So the only person for the minutes is Tom, who isn't here, Tom Hardiman. I'm hoping he comes. And then we have to approve the minutes from 6/24. So is there any updates to that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So Trevor. Tell us what you got.
So as you know, we have been working with a law firm. We've identified a law firm called Hurwitz and Associates. They come very well recommended from Barry Dunn, who we've used for accounting many times, and I'm sure some of you have used as well. They're very well known in the state, obviously. And Hurwitz and Associates, they're a law firm that kind of specializes in this, in setting up new nonprofits to help. I mean, just new nonprofits, and they have experience with helping kind of do that and laying out what that process looks like. They sent over this document here, which kind of lays out the formation process, which I'll pass that along to everyone. And we have drafted this letter of understanding, which kind of lays out in the first instance, where we're going to go, what the plan is moving forward here. It's a pretty vague document, but that's kind of the nature of this thing, I think, at this point. We do need to raise a little bit of funds here to kind of kick this off. Hurwitz Associates has asked for a $3,500 retainer fee. And they estimate that the formation process for a 501c3 of this nature would be in the range of $7,000 to $10,000. Given that this is a little bit unorthodox, it's a little bit of an unusual organization, but not unprecedented, certainly. They would say that it's probably at the higher end there. The process of forming a 501c3 of this nature can be time consuming, but there are ways to sort of expedite that process. And I think the way that we kind of identified as being a likely suspect to expedite that process would be through our local delegation. That could be something, if there are those on the committee with the ability, or perhaps we write something as a committee. We can talk a little bit more about that, but that might be a way to help expedite this process. What can be a 7 to 9 month process can be as quick. I mean, Hurwitz Associates, you all heard, they said that can be as quick as 3 to 4 weeks. This is to expedite the process, the IRS's process of reviewing the application. I want to be clear on what that process is. But Hurwitz Associates they need time to prepare all the documents as is laid out in that attachment, and they will start working just as soon as we can get them a retainer. Again, I did draft this letter of understanding as I reviewed this and spoke a little bit more with our legal team. and I want to put this by you, but I understand the Athenaeum has agreed to be the fiscal sponsor.
Yes,
I think a separate fiscal sponsor agreement outside of this letter of understanding would be appropriate.
Mhm.
I don't know that everyone needs to be a part of the fiscal sponsor agreement.
Mhm.
It seems to me that's probably the best way to do that.
Sure, that sounds appropriate.
But anyway, I'll pass, I'll keep one of these for myself. I'll pass this along. What we've drafted so far.
I had hoped Tom was gonna be here because I had asked him to bring an update on the fund. I know there's been some additions to it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't have any sound numbers, but I know that there was at least 2,000, I think the last time I knew.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Tom's probably planning to come next Friday.
I'm sorry?
Tom's probably planning to come on the 29th.
Here's another.
Oh,
I sent him an email
That may have been the.
yesterday and it said, it said, see you tomorrow,
Yeah, no, he said he'd see me Monday.
Oh.
So it's Friday,
So,
so
well, maybe he's just late.
say Monday is hard.
Keep my computer from going to sleep here. So anything else on the letter of, I mean, you're just seeing this letter of understanding, so it's
And I have to say, I apologize for not getting this out earlier. I'd wanted to circulate this in advance, but the events of last week kind of got the better of me.
I understand that. So I don't know, with quick readings, I don't know if anyone has comments.
What's on the back of the second page?
Right.
Not wasting papers at the drill.
Well, we do have a, a director of planning and sustainability in-house, so I try to appease that department. Yes.
Well, good. Well, I've been working on fundraising. I've gotten a couple people to agree to donate. I think one has already.
Okay.
But I wanted to see, I'd like to get to that, at least that 3,500 mark so we can begin this process.
Right.
So,
And Herwin Associates said that they will take probably 3 to 4 months just to do the drafting process, and that starts when
we give them some money.
we get the money.
Surprise.
That's right.
So,
So 3 to 4 months from the point they get money, so. Probably the kind of roughly the rest of the year.
Sure.
okay. And so then, ripping through this agenda here. Probably good. Christine, any update on the conservation assessment for the city?
I have about 4 names, so I'm gonna be able to get quotes and then we can move ahead. I discovered I don't have to have an RFP. I just need to get 3 quotes for, given the cost of the assessment. So I have some things from online and from Tom in terms of people who would be good for it. So I should be able to get those out this week and
Great.
see if I
Good.
just need to talk to Abby and some others to get the square footage
Mhm.
that we're talking about for the conservative or the appraiser.
And are we comfortable with assessments from Strawberry Bank and the Historical Society and the Athenaeum? I don't. Do we need to do something with that?
I think we just need to identify who we want to do the assessments, and I think that we would probably decide on the company that Tom used before, because I don't think the Athenaeum needs to do.
Right, we're done.
Yeah, you have done it, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think we'd probably work with that same,
Yeah,
Group.
some private funding for it.
yeah.
Wow.
Do we know the approximate cost of?
It's not, it's maybe like $35,000 to $5,000. It's not a huge amount.
We were thinking private foundation money. Yeah, a good source for that.
Is there a deadline that we should be working towards for
Well-
that, completing that assessment?
I mean, I think the sooner we
Might make it happen.
know that, the sooner we know
Then we know square footage.
how
and
much space we need
And of what type.
and
So
what,
all
what,
of this funding that we talked about not having till next year,
Mhm.
we would want those reports to put in any kind of grant application.
Yeah,
Right,
I guess, say the end of this year.
okay.
you're gonna have to put more money in your pot with because all those assessors of your collections are gonna have to get new boots.
We'll provide the boot.
Right, we'll just.
There you go.
We'll have some waiters just outside basement doors.
Isn't that not funny? In a way.
Yeah, but as funny as everything else happening, I
Yeah.
suppose. Like January 1st.
and Emma, I know we talked about approaching some people, so I don't know,
I haven't heard back from her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you been,
I have not tried her,
all right,
but I've got a couple other people, so.
oh, great.
Trevor, the memorandum of understanding between us, the entities and the Athenaeum,
Yes.
that's something that can happen before we have it. Or only after they've established.
No, the purpose of this is, purpose of this is to enter into this agreement before the, sort of as our operating procedures between now and when the entity is formed.
Cause I'm just wondering what we call the entity when we make an MOU that the Athenaeum is going to be, it's not among the particulars, it's with the entity, right? You're saying the memorandum for the fiscal agent
Sure, right,
would kind of be, the Athenaeum will be the fiscal agent for the,
or the, right.
Maybe.
and that's why I'm wondering about the,
Well, I'm
right
not
phases
the,
of it.
I'm the legal department, not the marketing arm. So I mean, if anybody has any great ideas on what the entity would be called, I think that could be.
We've been,
but we don't have to wait for any legal entity before we make that memorandum.
No, I think we,
I think
what
we
they
need to
recommend,
do this now.
what Hurwitz
Yeah.
Associates recommended was we enter into an agreement between ourselves now, a written agreement now.
Okay, so we do need a name for this,
That would be good.
Yeah,
and then we enter into an MOU for the fiscal
Yeah,
agent.
and another thing that I, would like to add to this agreement, I should have printed draft on this and I didn't, I apologize for that, but. One of the things that I kind of wanted guidance for from this group is what the eventual structure. And we can talk more about this, but what the structure of the entity would be. I mean, Hurwitz Associates, when we spoke with them, they threw out a number of different ideas. And I'm talking about composition of the board. I think what the structure is, as we envision it now, is there'll be this entity that each member organization will have a contract with, right? Regarding the, records and how they're going to be managed, et cetera, et cetera. But that nonprofit will be governed by a board of directors. And I think one of the structures that Hurwitz Associates suggested for that board was every member association could appoint a board member, maybe two, and then to break the because we have an even number, there could be an at-large position or several at-large positions on the board, members of the community. So any thoughts anyone has? I mean, you all have obviously far more experience than I in nonprofit governance, but I would appreciate any thoughts anyone has on that. Any guidance?
my thought had been two members from each organization. Now,
Yeah.
I believe that means the city too.
Yes.
And I'm not sure whether that's a council appointee or something else, a staff appointee.
I mean, consistent with how other appointments are made. I would recommend that that appointment be made by the city council. It could be a staff member,
Mhm.
or you could have, they could choose to have a staff member and then a
Plus a
city council member
Yeah.
or someone else.
Okay,
But that would be up to whatever city council is making that appointment at the time.
and then I thought maybe several or a couple at large
Sure,
members
sure. I
Why?
mean, given,
to break the evens number,
So we only want one.
So one or three.
one or three.
one or
yeah,
three.
Would be
yeah.
the,
Does at large mean the same thing as members of the public?
Yes,
At what point during the legal process do we need to have an understanding of how this archive will actually operate?
Yesterday.
Like with a staff person or not a staff like, when do we need to know
Mhm.
I
how it
think,
literally functions?
I think what we've talked
Or
about
propose anyway?
is that it'll operate. I mean, I think it's the intent that the city would own the facility. And is that right? I mean, I think that's what. we've
that's an idea, yeah. That,
Yeah.
you know, I again, I think
Or
there's a number.
on lease or something, because the city is probably. I'll call it the stablest organization. It
You think?
You-
I don't think so.
In
quotes, in
quotation
Yeah.
well, no, I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about that the city will be here.
One form or another.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. I still don't know that I think that's stable.
And the idea is to insulate this from politics.
Enduring, how about enduring?
Yes, I agree with Chuck.
I think
The
when
more
we're
you
looking
can-
at this, when we're looking at this, this is gonna be an organization dedicated to archives. Politics should not be in this. To the
right.
extent that we can make that the case, and of course, that city representation. But orchestrate this thing, so that's the case,
There he is.
which means the city could own it, and we have an operating agreement with it, and the operator. Contract with the city would be binding in terms of operating it. The good of the archive rather than a political position.
I mean, I think a consideration is going to be what kind of funding is available and out there. I mean, and how much of the management and, kind of day-to-day operations of the facility is going to be just kind of, because we've seen this happen before where that just kind of defaults to the city because we have people who can do that, who can operate a facility on staff. So, if there's a lot of funding out there that is reliable and you're able to get on an ongoing basis, then then great, then maybe it makes more sense for the nonprofit itself to manage the facility as well.
And when you're talking about manage the facility, you mean like the actual like.
Hire a staff person.
Right, well, what I think.
That part, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Operating.
what I think
Operating.
Elizabeth was talking, or maybe this is the same thing, like. I had heard conversation of having an executive director of this new 501(c)(3 that would be a paid position. And I see that as separate than, making sure, like if the city owned the property, maybe having some support on if a pipe burst or something like that. Is that the difference of operating or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess how I see it is, the city owns a parcel of land, and perhaps owns the facility on the land or maybe not. And then the 501(c)(3 has a lease agreement with the city, and that's part of the agreement. They lease they lease the property. And then that agreement would spell out, and that would be something that, we
Right.
would probably work out with the eventual executive director, and that'd be.
That agreement could easily say that even though there's an agreement with the nonprofit's gonna use city employees. City operation capabilities to run it.
That could be part
Potentially,
consideration.
Does
could
that
be
mean the
part
city would
consideration.
have to carve out another employee set aside to run this facility? That is part of the overall,
That is what
Okay.
that would, yes. But obviously, that would be a decision that
yeah.
would have to be made by the manager.
Right.
in negotiation with the eventual executive director.
Do we think that executive director, is there any chance? Would we want that person to be a city employee and like, or we wouldn't want that, right?
No, you'd want someone with, I think, I think you'd want someone with, whose duties accrue to the
To the
to the
newly
nonprofit
formed-
independently.
Okay.
Not to any one
One
organization, including the city.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want the kind of mixing of duties there. There'll be enough of that on the board of directors.
Yeah, I don't envy this executive director right now.
Watching. I think what you're getting, maybe what you're getting at is, so we're gonna do this and we're gonna do the rest of the assessments. And then our subcommittee is gonna get together to talk about funding potential, but it's at that point that we need to know what we're funding.
Yes, exactly.
So I think these first two things have to happen,
Yeah.
these, or
That
3 or
needs
4,
done.
whatever, these agreements and this making us an entity.
Mhm.
But, and getting an assessment of what the building needs, at which point this group, this entity needs to sit down and say, what kind of money are we going for? What kind of building are
Yep.
we going for?
Right.
So what you
Ideal
guys-
staff.
Yeah.
And the staff, yeah, exactly.
We mentioned, like long-term funding that might be available, and I don't know what long-term funding might be available to fund this eventual executive director position, or any, you know, just sort of day-to-day operational money. So how does that work?
That's the key. That's number 3 in your matrix of what we have to do. We set up the entity so it has the maximum ability to get funding from as many sources as possible.
Mhm.
That would be critical. But we need the funding committee to tell us that
Mhm.
soon.
You're right.
At what point do you create the operating budget? 'Cause the operating budget is the heart of it all. You need almost to be clairvoyant to figure out what kind of budget, what it's gonna cost per year to run it.
We do ask for a budget in this, yeah.
Yeah.
That is something to look at, but I think the foundation of some sort, I'm calling it a foundation, but that that the nonprofit be able to take in money as donations to get going.
Yeah.
Has to precede that, as do the identification of the things we've been looking at, like NHS, or to say, where could we get the building things? But then to your point, figure out, once we know the size of the building, then we can say it's gonna take an executive director for the nonprofit.
Yeah,
And maybe we had talked in the past about each of us having personnel on site at some point. So we figure out how many more
Mhm.
staff,
Mhm.
and then.
did people funding early on ever ask for that information that we wouldn't have yet?
Yes,
Some people would,
Yeah.
for sure.
if they were smart.
We'll also need budget numbers, some kind of a budget number for the IRS application.
Yep.
Right. So that will be part of the process of developing the entity.
501c3 literally has to have a budget, critical and explanation.
But
Doesn't
that, I
have to have everything in it, just to start on
Yeah.
budget.
was gonna say, that could be tiny, right? That could be
Mhm.
grant writer or.
But I think to Elizabeth's point, didn't we hear that when the 2 gentlemen came up to talk about fundraising, there were options for private foundations to fund long-term operating costs?
I thought they did, yeah.
They did.
They absolutely did.
Yeah.
The 2 guys from the archive,
Excuse me?
the archivist?
The two
Yeah.
archive guys.
But they were rather small level funds
Right.
that I don't think is anywhere near what we're gonna need.
Yeah.
So I frankly think, yeah, of course you apply for them, but
Mhm.
it's not gonna get you much. So the secret is you gotta have something else in the meantime.
You don't want to set it up with a structural deficit from the beginning. Like, how do you
You would
figure
prefer
out?
not to.
Right, like, the earned income, and so some of the earned income is coming from the member organizations.
Mhm.
Is there other earned income? And then I still think you push for an endowment right from the beginning. because you're gonna get the
Absolutely.
most excitement
Of course.
right now. And if you could get that endowment to a certain level where you knew it was going to be generating.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
Vince, to your question, I just got a text from our office manager. We have $2,040.
Okay,
Yeah.
And what do we need, 3,000?
3,500.
3,500.
But let's just plan to double that figure and sign the agreement.
Well, feel free to step up.
That's what happened.
If someone were to make a donation to this, how would they do so? And who
Right.
would they make their,
Send a check to the Athenaeum.
okay,
And
With a notation that it's
Okay.
for the public-private archive. Then it goes into a dedicated fund.
Never to be seen again.
gotta
If-
give it to
if-
lawyers.
if-
Yeah, it's going right out.
As soon as this is created, it would be transferred to this.
Yeah.
yes,
Understanding it's not, the funds are not tax deductible until such a time as the eventual nonprofit is incorporated.
Even if the check's written in a different fiscal year?
Athenaeum,
No, Athenaeum.
Athenaeum's
is a-
deductible.
is a profit.
yeah, but it's not.
But you're not
to
giving to the
Athenaeum.
Athenaeum.
It's to
You're
this
giving to
holding
the
company.
nonprofit
to a
that is
nascent
yet not.
organization.
Well, too bad, just lost some money.
It's not, it's Athenaeum's just the
Fiscal
placeholder.
agent, yeah.
Pass through.
Yeah.
Who are you going to?
So if a donation is made in 2024 and this doesn't get approved until 2025, can that person still deduct it?
You're gonna have to talk to a tax lawyer on that.
You're not gonna like the answer.
Probably not. But I have the luxury of not having to give you the answer. So, no.
I get it.
Who are you agreeing with the Athenaeum? Who's the agreeing party? You said you're gonna have a separate agreement.
Would have to be with, that's why I need I'd like a name, because I think that would be with the nascent organization.
So the fiscal sponsorship agreement is with this entity and the Athenaeum.
Right.
We gotta have a working name.
Right.
That's right.
Right,
So we're
You
gonna-
keep kicking that.
And that's gotta be in this letter of understanding, but I don't know what the name is yet.
yeah. I've been thinking about it. I've been talking to couple people about it, but there are people who do this very well. Better than me.
Mhm.
So, I know Chuck has, just explained to me how the Save the Outdoor or the Portsmouth Pool,
Mhm.
indoor Portsmouth Pool created a great name, SIP. And, it really stuck. And so we need something like that.
What he's saying is we need an acronym.
Junk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you have one?
No, well, not yet. I've been thinking of all sorts of things. I've been trying to think of the words that describe the entity. Collaborative, public-private, Portsmouth history. So although all those initials and how they
Letters.
fit together. Association, institute, foundation, those are all letters that could be used in a name.
Get AI to do it for you.
That's a good idea.
Frightening idea.
Yeah, you're right.
Portsmouth Research Center,
I like that.
short.
PRC.
Yeah, but it
But
sounds too much like People's
We also need to get a.
I know.
nobody-
Sounds good to me. My statutory organization.
I'm sorry,
Portsmouth Archive Research Center Park.
I thought of that one too, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we're all parking our junk there. That's good.
Yeah,
Thank you. Got it.
Junk in the trunk.
We want to have a working name to give them today, or what are we gonna do? Let's make some decisions.
Yes.
Okay,
I like something that starts with Portsmouth.
yeah,
I think Chuck's idea is as good as any.
We can change it, but we can have something now.
Portsmouth Archive Research Center.
Parentheses,
Park.
park.
I do like having a nice acronym.
Yeah.
There is a park already though with the city, Public Art Review Committee.
Yeah,
That's right.
The only
Really?
thing.
That's true.
but not with a K.
No, but this would be a C. as
Yeah, I
well.
know.
Yeah, have to spell. Center with a K. But
Enter.
very much good.
Good luck.
And
Yeah, we
probably
know
not
history, not
instill a lot
spelling.
of trust in us.
What does it do?
You could
What?
use
The
PH.
Public Art Review Committee.
It's a committee.
Mhm.
It's a- Yeah,
It's an official commission of the
Yeah,
city.
Does it use the acronym?
it does, yeah,
Yes.
yes.
That's the problem.
it does. I forgot about that committee.
Portsmouth
Is it?
Historic,
If we're a separate
Archive.
501c3,
Center.
does it matter that?
Can
Yeah,
you just
be
use
happy.
hack? Public Archive Center. I mean, it's-
one of the things that's, one person told me is that the general public does not understand the word archive.
That's right.
Yeah, it's true.
And they especially don't understand it as we've configured it
Mhm.
with multiple kinds of objects.
So,
Better saying historic than archive?
Definitely.
yeah. So the
Anything that
PH
doesn't use the word archive is always better.
Well, what's wrong with using it with the word research? I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Research
research.
centers are
yeah.
fine.
No, but I mean, having archive with research, it kind of tells you what it is.
Mhm.
Center for Archive and Research in Portsmouth, the CARP.
What? I didn't hear that.
Carp.
I like carp. but I didn't hear that right there.
Center for Archive and Research in Portsmouth.
Yeah, that's good.
Carp.
too.
Not bad.
That's good too.
Just moved.
It just, right.
You like fish.
Who doesn't?
Marketing.
Center for Archival Research.
Center for Archival Research. There you go. Archival Research.
I think it's never good to have an and
No, that was.
Yes.
in the middle of your, what are they talking about?
For Archival Research. There you go.
Center for Archival Research.
Did you put Portsmouth at the end?
In Portsmouth, yeah. That's how you get the CARP. I needed
But
to
I
be
figured, but it's in. and I just-
in Portsmouth, yeah,
Yeah.
In or of, right?
or of Portsmouth,
Oh.
yeah. Of
I like
Portsmouth is
of
better.
better.
Of Portsmouth.
Of, you like of, Portsmouth, is that consensus?
Center for Archival
Yeah.
Research. The Center for Archival Research in Portsmouth.
It could theoretically be in Newington.
Mhm.
Right.
Could quickly
Or
expand.
Franconia, you know. Buy a truck.
Oh, I so move. All those in favor?
Hi.
No, seriously, can we decide this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure. Carp is great.
Yeah, Carp's good.
Center for Archival Research of Portsmouth.
Mhm.
Oh, Portsmouth or in Portsmouth. Oh, Portsmouth.
Okay, can we go
Both
back to
Portsmouth
the
or in
board
Portsmouth.
composition? So we're doing two members from each organization and then one or three at-large members.
I think three.
I think it's great.
Do you really want two from
Yeah,
every
you-
organization? Isn't one enough?
Well, what if one can't make it to a meeting?
It's a lot, though. The organizations have got a lot. They've got their own committees. They're busy.
I'm okay with it, because I'm thinking like a staff member and maybe a board member.
Okay,
Okay,
right.
there's a
you're
good
right.
plan.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's.
good.
I
It doesn't
think
have
that's
to be
good.
board members. They just have the ability to cite two
Right.
people from their
Each
organization.
organization
Yeah.
presents two people.
Yeah.
So it could be
It's up
staff.
to them
Could
whether
be
it's two staff or
Volunteer.
one board.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
So we have a 9-person board.
Somebody who.
yes.
of whom 4 show up each time.
Wouldn't it be
11.
It'd be
Four,
11.
11. Yeah, I went to law school, not math school.
Right.
What else you need?
$10,000.
What much?
Her 10,000 for her witness associate. I mean, overall 10,000. We have
But right
35,
now We need 1,500, right?
3,500.
35.
No, 30.
Yeah, we already have two, so, right.
2,000. 2,500 plus.
Yeah. So I'll get busy on it. I've been busy on it, but I think I might have another
Ish.
one coming.
Good.
I don't know who you've heard from, but probably, I don't know if people are doing it anonymously or not. So The other thing is that, I think it would be proper, even if it's anonymous, for me to send a thank you letter.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to Tom about that.
Okay,
Um,
so far you have 3 donors.
okay,
You won't get writers. grant.
Trevor, we have a Athenaeum board meeting on Wednesday.
Yep.
Is it possible to get that fiscal agent letter drawn up before then?
What time? Oh, yeah, I'll get it to you before. I'll
Okay.
get it to you before. Wednesday.
Great.
So these board members, just to get us started, so to speak.
Yep.
We're not talking about in general, people from the city yet, or people large or are.
Ask that question again, I'm sorry.
We talked about the board. How we constitute the board, 2 from each one of the organizations. We're saying about the rest of the board also now, or are we waiting?
Why would you?
well, I think we have to define.
Yeah.
What the board is made up of, but
Hmm.
not the individuals at this point.
Right. I think you could make this selection at each organization can make the selection at any time, I guess, between now and when the organization is formed.
And that's what's under point 2
But
here,
once
where
it's-
we do bylaws.
Right.
Okay,
Organization.
right, that's the answer.
But but Herwin and Associates will help us,
Figure it
draft
out.
those.
Figure out.
They've done it
Right.
before, they'll help us.
That's why we're hiring them.
Exactly.
So we're starting with us, 2 members from each one of our organizations, and then we're gonna talk about what the final board
Final
will
thing
be
is, right.
and reform the bylaw.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Like how long appointments are for, things such as that, that the
Yeah.
bylaws would help.
I mean, all these things are, we can change them obviously as things, if somebody wants to give a substantial endowment to put their name at the, have maybe the Lombardi Center for Archival Research. And
Lombardi Park.
second that.
I think, I better win the lottery.
Do any of us have a historic carp we could use for our logo?
Oh, look,
Right, I was gonna say we might.
We must have
I know a historic house in Elliott that has a beautiful, actually might be a macro.
Yeah.
Carp native to here?
That's what I was just thinking of.
Doesn't carp also mean to complain?
Yes.
And just don't switch the research and archival. That wouldn't ring as good of a name.
Crap.
Yeah.
That's where.
Well, that goes with your junk.
It depends on what the domain name will look like, I guess.
And which is available.
Do you need anything else for this?
No, I think I'm okay for now. Thank you.
Just one.
Trevor, can you send the documents out via email too?
Sure.
So we can print these out?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. In the meantime, we can begin having conversations within our organizations as to who we want appointing as board members as well,
Yep.
so that we're prepared for that when the time comes.
Right. We should probably, well, when the city manager is still away,
Yeah, she's still in Germany.
Yeah.
But we can brief her and then eventually figure out when we'd like to bring.
what
it.
she would like to see. Might be necessary.
Certainly would be.
And we'll ignore the mayor, I guess. We don't want it political.
Well, we'll have to bring it to him at some point.
Yeah, I know.
Depends on how popular it is, and the mayor might want in if it
Yeah,
becomes
that's
really
true.
popular.
Seems to be very popular.
Against.
Oh,
Anything else? I
So
don't want to keep people beyond,
I have
Yeah.
one really quick thing.
Yeah.
Which sort of relates to this. I had a meeting with Linnea last week before. About this project that's been sort of lingering for several years about doing a public history project of Portsmouth history, including sort of a big matrix of different topics and then breaking it out by year. But instead of us filling it out, having citizen researchers submit content that would then be edited before it went live on a website somewhere. And Linnea had the brilliant idea that once this gets created, which might be very soon, a board and an executive director aren't going to have a whole lot to do other than raising money. And that if instead of being Strawberry Bank and the Portsmouth Athenaeum, if CARP
Yep.
took this over as a way to have a public presence before there's a building.
I like that.
Yeah, so that there's, because
Yeah,
I have
right,
a
yeah.
feeling
Good
as we
idea.
start doing grant applications, we're gonna have to show how is this entity going to be of value to the public? So if we have a public programming piece, and the person who brought this to us, he was like, I want to see all these organizations work together a little bit more closely. I was like, well, funny you say that, because we
We
have
have this idea.
something, right, something going, so I thought it could be a nice.
Who is this?
Can we share?
I don't know why not.
Okay, Peter Tarleton.
What, can you say that one more time, Tom? There's been the idea of a what? I've never heard of this.
It's a public history project of, it was originally supposed to be part of the Portsmouth 400,
Oh,
but nobody
got left out.
took it up. Right. Because there was so much else going on.
So I
So
think,
so it'll largely be a website
okay,
with a database on it. And that we would invite citizen historians to submit content.
Like oral history type things?
Could be oral history, or it could just be, if
It
it's
could be
broken down
research.
into,
Hmm.
science, community, immigration. There, we had close to 20 different things that we had talked about, as somebody could say, oh, yeah, well, I knew my great-great-grandfather came over from Lithuania in 1880, and you could plug that in.
interesting.
And it fits the thing we talked about early last year about having a digital presence before we had a building. That's what I like about it, that it shows them what this entity is aiming for, and then
And the
before we've
person,
got a physical thing to show them.
if the people who are doing some of the research that, I mean, they would be turning to archives and the documents that we're talking about, making more publicly accessible.
Yeah. It was modeled on the city's North End History Project.
Yeah.
Where people wrote in their memories, but it wasn't posted like a blog. It went to I think, Nicole,
Mhm.
and Nicole edited it and then posted it.
Right. Nice.
So this would be hosted by whatever website is part of this new car project. This would be a
Right.
subset,
This would be-
would be a
Mhm.
page
Our-
within. Yep.
Yeah, right. So it doesn't require any immediate action because none of it exists, but
Mhm.
it's just to plant that seed.
Yep.
So better to start early.
All will be fine until you get some absolutely crazy, inaccurate.
Oh, that won't get posted.
Well,
That's what the internet's for, it's
Yeah.
crazy inaccurate, right?
The Elon Musk honorary.
Yeah.
Is the information vetted or is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
that's
is
the
vetted.
law.
They'll be better, all right.
Yeah. That's why.
That's why you have a board of trustees.
It's not a
from each
blog.
organization.
Yes, okay.
It's-
Is that? could
So
go
these-
down
Sorry.
there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all yours.
Is the idea that it would be vetted by the board of this entity?
No,
No.
No,
No,
I mean, this would again be once you have an executive director of saying like, okay, executive director figured this out, and we have some ideas about who could do the vetting, like
Right.
Uh-huh.
graduate
and there
students.
could be some
Mm.
trusted volunteers.
Yep.
That would be able to do
so
that.
this would be essentially a committee of this entity.
Yes.
The
like
answer
a-
is, the real answer is that yes, indeed, our board will have a say in this. We just won't do the work.
Right, right.
We're gonna find some people that can.
Yeah, my immediate no there was I do not need articles to review sitting on my desk,
Right.
nor does anyone else need that.
But politically, I mean, policy wise, it'll be this end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cause it just seemed crazy that there was this
I think
other
carpet
idea
is
bubbling
highly
up that
appropriate term.
related to all the
I think
same
it-
people.
It's perfect for this.
That's a great idea.
If they get involved in all this.
Kind of pleases
inaccurate
everybody
history
too.
when they come at them.
And it would give this executive director something to do other than play video games all day.
Fundraising is stuff.
Fundraising.
Yeah. Not easy thing.
Tom forgets about that part.
I have one thing about the name, and it doesn't say history anywhere in it.
Good.
Well,
Most people don't like history.
yeah, but the people who like history have money.
That's true.
Well, we talked about the benefit for going forward with fundraising, about having history that we're saving for future generations.
Right.
So
I just wonder about
Valid.
that.
They go, why do we call it sharp?
Yeah, well, I thought about Study Center for Archival Research and of Portsmouth history, so it'd be SCARF. Or just CARF.
What if there's sometimes a tagline that's underneath?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, I think you're right. about
right. I
that.
think you
Yeah.
can do that.
yeah.
And
Just,
I think those that like history might understand what an archive is.
yeah.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? That's good. Short meeting.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's
likes
nice.
a short meeting.
Great.
Wait.
So we made decisions, correct?
Yes,
Voted on decisions on this.
yeah.
Is anyone keeping minutes?
I guess we should actually have a vote.
Yes, I think maybe.
So can I get a motion?
for
Whatever decisions need to be made.
Maybe the organization and the fact.
We
that
did
we're gonna have
We-
to-
yeah, we approved that.
Records made for minutes.
Right.
we approved the name.
Yeah, we did
We
that.
already did that.
We
So
voted on
We
that.
just need to approve the motion to adjourn, I think.
Well, what about the board?
The board count.
composition?
I motion for the
Board count of
count
11, is that what just, the board
11,
count
yeah.
of 11
and the makeup.
in the makeup, yeah?
Yep.
So move.
Three large.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Okay, good. Then we also have, because we
That
have a
one.
guest and public comment. If there's any public comment and,
Not today.
Nobody online.
okay. And then I have,
Christine's it.
Can we just talk about the timeline of creating this
Yes.
entity and entering into the agreement?
Yeah.
So we're gonna need approval from each board on this agreement to move it forward.
I'll circulate a new draft of this week.
Okay.
So everybody's organization can go and approve it.
when is your meeting?
Wednesday.
We're on Wednesday afternoon.
Is that possible or?
Sure, there doesn't need to be substantial, unless someone has something, but it doesn't seem to be substantial edits. Cass, are you around this week?
It can be, yeah,
Okay, maybe it would be good if we had a meeting with at least with Suzanne.
okay.
about this.
And we meet Wednesday and we don't meet through August, so it would be important to have ours
Understood.
approved
Yeah.
this month.
Understood.
And when is your board meeting?
Early September.
It's September and,
September for you.
yeah,
We meet tonight and then not again till September. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So September gives us the time to get the rest of the money.
well, let's not put it off that long.
Right. I think we can do the retainer and everything. So
Yeah, and I mean, the letter of understanding, it's not really binding or anything, so it shouldn't be that big of a heavy of a lift here.
Okay, well, do you have time right after this?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure,
good.
would be great.
Well, wait.
Um. something else.
What's the timeline again?
Well,
September.
the timeline, well, now, I don't know, we have to update that spreadsheet of the timeline.
September for this, because some boards aren't meeting until September. but immediately for fundraising to get the retainer. I mean, ASAP. The one-
And I had a question. I tried to look up the videos of the meetings.
Our Zoom meetings.
Yeah, our meetings, and I couldn't figure out how to find them. Either on YouTube or,
Thought Kevin was posting them to our website. I'll ask him.
okay. Cause I had a, one person wanted to see some of the meetings.
They are on YouTube.
They are.
They are?
I'll send you. I'll
Oh,
send
you just couldn't find them.
Yeah, so they're, in fact, if you go through the city of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I think they all come up.
Okay,
I'll send you a link.
okay,
So,
good, thank you.
so wait, just before we move off this, point, what boards, when are boards meeting next?
Mine's tomorrow night.
Tonight,
Mine meets tonight. at
Who
the
was
Historical
mine?
Society, and then we meet again in.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of.
Okay, make a call.
Make a call, yeah.
Okay.
You think we have enough for a board meeting?
23rd.
You think we have enough? for the board tonight?
Yeah, we can see it up for them. I mean, we know.
This doesn't need big edits, I can recirculate the draft today.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
If you think it's.
I know.
Recirculate today, I can put it in front of you tonight, I don't.
Yeah. why not?
Have any.
Get the
Get
board-
it out of
get
the-
The board members of the day.
I
Yeah,
don't.
it doesn't need much edit, yeah.
And
It'll
this.
take me five, yeah, to that, it'll take me 5 minutes. to do that.
Yeah.
That's not big.
You would?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I can-
You gotta vote.
No,
Around the
not
place.
I would go.
But we're gonna do it.
But the
tonight.
Strawberry Bank doesn't meet
Do
until
what?
Gotta get it approved tonight.
September.
Oh, good.
September 9th.
Yeah, so that if you got the Athenaeum and the Historical Society and Strawberry Bank presumably soon, then we're all.
There in September.
They're not till September,
Yeah, they're not till September.
It's fast acting.
so we'll get
So,
3 out of the 4.
three of the four,
Mhm.
right.
And then who has to be, is it the city manager who has to?
When
be
she
in charge of the
returns,
city?
Yeah.
so
It'd be better.
We'll
to-
talk
Marty
to
and I,
Suzanne.
we'll go
right
talk to
back.
Suzanne. And then that'll give us a game plan of what to do.
Great. Anything else? Yes,
Did our legal committee meet with this guy or set it up, or do we have to wait for the 35 months?
I think you have to wait for the 35.
I think the next thing to do is get the 3,500 over to them and then we
Okay.
can,
Then
can
you
block
can
out the,
Next week.
Can we get the 3,500 over to them prior to Strawberry Bank's approval of this agreement?
I think.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll confirm with, I can send them an email, just confirm that though.
Does our executive committee meet? Or
It's
not?
not regularly scheduled,
not
but
us.
I mean, it's a potential.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know how time sensitive,
Is it reasonable to assume that the 3,500 will be obtained within the next couple of months?
Weeks,
I would.
weeks.
Week, I
Yes.
think.
Next couple of
weeks.
weeks.
I think.
I mean,
I talked to a couple people and they said, yeah, I'll contribute to that.
Right.
I don't know whether they contributed
You'll find out.
$25 or, no,
I
How do you
$1,000, I
contribute?
don't know.
Can you just tell you and send you a check or what?
No, I send them to the Athenaeum. And with the what is it called? The
Fiscal agent.
fiscal agent fund.
Mhm.
It's in the letter that we
Right.
use, so.
The one that we talked about last week.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn,
so move.
Second.
all in favor?
Let's.
I.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.